Welcome. If we can take our seats. Good morning, everyone. Well, it's almost afternoon. Thank you for coming. Welcome to day 2 of BUIDL Europe. Great way to kick off the conference circuit of the year. And what a great topic to talk about, wallets, with the one and only Pedro Gomes from WalletConnect. And WalletConnect underpins a lot of most of the wallets that we use today to interact on chain. So let's just begin with a bit of background about how you got into this and the genesis story of WalletConnect for those who don't know. So kick it off.
Yeah, so first of all, thanks everyone for coming to a conference in January. I know there's so much to do this year and everyone is so busy. So your presence is very much appreciated. Why WalletConnect? Why did we start it, or where did it come from? Honestly, it just came out of need, because in 2017 I was trying to also build a wallet together with other people in my team, and it was really hard to compete. And making wallets better to use also means that we need to make it more competitive. And in 2017, MetaMask did not have like a slight monopoly. They were Ethereum. And to compete as a wallet, it would be almost impossible. So WalletConnect was a solution to address that. And then in 2018, it went live, and the Ethereum Foundation liked it so much that it became its own thing. And it completely moved me from being a wallet developer to being every wallet developer.
That's quite impactful and kind of foundational for the industry. So, I mean, the tagline on the WalletConnect side is the UX on chain. So could you share a little bit more about how you've built it and how important is good UX for the adoption of crypto?
Yeah, I mean, if you think about what it means to be on chain, you're still going to websites, you're still going to applications on your phone. It's all the same as like traditional web, if you can even call something that was born in the 80s traditional. But the web hasn't changed that much for on-chain, with this clear distinction that you have to connect your wallet. So the wallet is at the center of this experience, because if you have a good wallet experience, then you have a good on-chain experience. That's why the focus on WalletConnect is to bring a superior on-chain experience by bringing all the wallets together, ensuring they have all the latest standards, provide the best features, and at the same time, essentially create a more competitive market, because they all become commoditized. And actually, winning as a wallet does not become a technological problem, and it becomes like a brand, it becomes a social problem, and sometimes it even becomes like a cultural problem, where you're actually picking a wallet not because it's a better wallet, but because it's your wallet.
Could you give the audience a sense of just how vast and like how many users, transactions take place via WalletConnect, and also just like name drop some of the wallets that it underpins? I'll let you do that, but I think just to grasp just how foundational WalletConnect is for the wallet industry, give us a picture.
Yeah, so actually this is something that's interesting, because for like 7 years of WalletConnect, we did a terrible job of like actually measuring like how big the network is, because WalletConnect is end-to-end encrypted. So we basically have all of these data points of like very abstract data. So we basically have been onboarding developers to essentially create these developer profiles such that we can help them better, but at the same time help us understand how the WalletConnect network is actually performing. And now I can say confidently that in 2024, we actually have this data very clearly. Like, we had 35 million unique users in 2024, connecting almost 200 million times. And this means that like all of these people used millions of different apps in different chains from different wallets in all over the world. And they all went through the WalletConnect network. And some of the names, as you mentioned, are, MetaMask, Trust Wallet, OKX, BitGet. These wallets have covered quite a large amount of traffic, but we also saw a lot of wallets growing really, really fast. Like some names, for example, like Rainbow and Zarian are growing very rapidly in the ranks of the leaderboard. And then we also have like some new wallets that kind of show up out of nowhere. Like it might seem surprising that everyone has the same wallet, but there's actually 600 different wallets competing in WalletConnect. And this is something that would be completely insane to say in 2017 when there was literally MetaMask and another 3.
Wow, that's amazing stats right there. So you're saying that anyone here who has interacted with Trust Wallet, MetaMask is one of the most widely used wallets, has interacted with WalletConnect network.
Yes. However, there is some caveats because WalletConnect is focused on cross-device or cross-application communication. So if you are more like a desktop user and you installed MetaMask as a browser extension, that is not covered within the scope of the WalletConnect network. However, if you use MetaMask on your phone and you connect it to, let's say you're scrolling through Twitter, you find a new app and then it asks you to connect, that actually is enabled by WalletConnect. Or if you want to connect your phone to your desktop or even to your TV, like you can connect WalletConnect across any application or any device.
No, that's pretty impactful. So congratulations on the growth. But let's take it at the start of the year. It's 2025. We're seeing a lot of crypto optimism. Who is touted to be the most pro-crypto U.S. president is about to take office very soon. So things are looking quite bullish in the U.S. And yeah, I think the market is, despite the month-to-month or week-to-week activity, it's looking up, right? And we all are here trying to onboard the next billion onto on-chain. So what's your sense, Pedro? Any predictions that you have for this year or insights on what you'd like to see?
One thing that I feel very confident now is that WalletConnect has survived all of these years to see these core developers of blockchains like Ethereum and Solana and Bitcoin change their gears from like, it's all about scalability. In order for us to onboard 1 billion users, we have to make the underlying technology faster, cheaper, stronger, better, whatever. But they always kind of put usability as a completely side topic that was never prioritized. And within the last 2 years, we've been seeing a change of narrative, especially in the last year, where now usability is core to these protocols. And now we're seeing new upgrades that are coming to Ethereum, to Layer 2s, and many other blockchains that are focused on usability. And I think that's going to be the #1 blocker, because no matter how much the block space gets cheaper and faster, if people feel very constrained of actually using this because it's just awkward. Like, we just have to accept that on-chain experience today is awkward, and we need to remove that anxiety and that awkwardness from it by implementing actual change at the blockchain layer. And Ethereum has this upgrade that is meant to happen this year. Let's see when it actually happens. That is going to be fundamental for user experience, where we might not have gas anymore. We will still have gas at the core layer, but from a user perspective, you won't notice. And that's so fundamental, because I wouldn't want someone to be onboarded on Instagram and then every time they post a picture, they have to pay 2 cents. Yeah, 2 cents isn't that bad, but just the idea that you have to pay for the 2 cents is a big friction. And if we can remove that from blockchain, being 1 billion users will be no longer blocked by this pattern that we just accepted it because we're just crypto native.
Right, so more usability. So what has the WalletConnect team been doing to make wallets more accessible and usable? And what advice and encouragement do you have for builders in the room, but also even just directly to users? Yeah.
So we've done quite a few things. For example, together with a lot of these major teams, we actually founded a standards body that a lot of people are aware of, EIPs and ERCs, which are Ethereum-specific standards. But we saw so much demand for WalletConnect in other ecosystems that there was a need for standardizing like the industry beyond EVM. And we were the founding members of the Chain Agnostic Standards Alliance. And we actually created a lot of the standards that are now fundamental for how WalletConnect works, are not only just compatible with EVM chains, but across every other chain. Like, we're supported pretty much in every layer 1 now because of these standards. And other companies have actually used these standards to make themselves also chain agnostic. And that has helped us not only from a perspective to grow, but also from the perspective of a user, where you can see the WalletConnect logo confidently knowing that your wallet will work, not because they're an Ethereum wallet, but because they're a WalletConnect wallet. And giving that sense of confidence that WalletConnect has your back is only possible through standardization.
I mean, let's look ahead of 2025, and what do you? Because you said that in 2024 you had 35 million transactions going via WalletConnect.
35 million users.
More transactions. 35 million users, unique users, which is amazing. Do you see that number rising this year? Any predictions? I mean, maybe if you don't have a figure, what would you like to see as well in terms of the industry kind of perhaps more, enterprises that want to integrate payments, crypto payments platforms into their program? I mean, are you seeing any partnerships coming up that you could share?
I mean, what we're seeing actually is more and more like what we wouldn't consider so much on-chain applications. I would almost call it like on-chain adjacent applications, which I think is quite interesting. Like, even if you consider like the growth of Farcaster, you have to really ask yourself, is Farcaster an on-chain app or not? Or is it just on-chain adjacent? And I would consider it on-chain adjacent because it is using your on-chain identity. It is using on-chain data to fulfill its content, but it actually operates completely independent from the on-chain. And this advent of like maybe Web 2.5, as some people used to call it, like it's actually creating more flexibility for developers, but it's also growing the pie as a whole. And then Stripe also started supporting WalletConnect in order to support payments for e-commerce. So again, like e-commerce now becomes an on-chain adjacent application. So the limits through where you can connect your wallet are now unbounded because we've broken the barrier of people being a little bit skeptical to blockchain, and now they're actually using it even though if they're not fully on-chain. Like even benefiting 20% from the blockchain capabilities is better than benefiting 0%. So how much do I expect WalletConnect to grow? Well, I expect, or I hope, maybe that's a better term, I hope that WalletConnect reaches 100 million unique users in 2025. That's my bet.
That's amazing. I mean, given how things are looking, hope we achieve that, and then moving on the journey to a billion. I mean, you've been in the industry for many years. You're an OG in your own right. What trends and narratives are you seeing this year that excite you and that you think is fundamental to onboarding more people on chain?
So I was actually just having this conversation before the Fireside chat, and I used to have this like default answer that the next trend is going to be gaming, and we were actually going to see more Web3 games and on-chain games. And I actually completely changed my mind over that, and I think 2025, it will be related to gaming, but actually I think this on-chain adjacent is actually very core to this mindset, is that we're actually not going to be playing games. Like, we actually are not all of a sudden going to be on our phones playing Candy Crush or League of Legends. It's not going to we're not going to change our lifestyle to just become gamers. What on-chain is actually doing is gamifying the real world. So we actually are slowly turning everything into a game, but not actually playing more games. But things that we used to do that were not gamified are now possible because of these on-chain primitives like identity, like tokenization and DAOs and community building. Like everything is kind of turning into a game. So we're not just becoming gamers, but the world is becoming gamified. So I think Farcaster has kind of proven a little bit of that, where it's basically like Twitter, but what if you gamify Twitter and you turn it into a very highly interactive, highly tokenized world where everyone is playing a game just for being social media, And even Kaito is doing the same thing with all the yaps that you can earn just from tweeting. They're basically gamifying social media. So on-chain is the gamification of the internet, in my opinion.
No, that's interesting. Yeah, I think it's exciting what Kaito is doing with Yaps. And you mentioned Farcaster, but also with X. I mean, you hear. I think there's been a leak that Elon Musk is launching X money, and a lot of us spend time on X. So yeah, how do you see that? Of course, Elon has been. I mean, he's been the co-founder of PayPal. Him being back in payments and also promoting crypto, I have no doubt that he wants to take this off somewhere. But yeah, what's your opinion on just the increase in activity of CryptoX and that?
I think that it's going to be much simpler than that. Like, if we see the startup world 10 or 20 years ago, what would happen with Twitter is that you would actually have Twitter just copy some small startup or acquire them. Like, it's exactly what Zuckerberg would have done. It's exactly what Elon Musk is also going to do. Like, you're just going to take something that has been battle tested at the smaller scale and you apply it on a larger scale. So what we're seeing with Farcaster and Kaito and other experimentation on social media can just be easily copied by Twitter at any point in time without any repercussions, because at the end of the day, it's a free market.
Yeah.
And it's not going to be that different. It's just going to be done at a larger scale.
What's your impression of meme coins, and also, I think the younger generation, the Gen Zs and the Gen Alphas, that the younger people are the ones that are engaging with this meme coin economy. What are your thoughts on that to onboarding more people on chain?
One thing that I want to kind of bring into the room is, like, we have to congratulate ourselves for surviving this long as an industry, and it has been really well done because we're really good at rebranding ourselves. Like, yes. Web3 is now called on-chain, shitcoins are now called meme coins, and it's like, it's the same thing. Like, even NFTs are now collectibles. Before, like, if you go back, account abstraction was called meta transactions. You just rebrand the same thing and you just try over and over again. It's really amazing. Yeah. So I think the
metaverse and autonomous worlds.
Yes, exactly. Metaverse, autonomous world. It's just rebranding. And even AI is now agents. It's like you just rebrand the same thing, but until it fits, right? So I think meme coins are just another rebrand of something that existed. And it's really interesting because meme coins actually are a symptom of the NFT community because fungible tokens have always existed. In fact, they were the first tokens that we have tokenized. And then the NFT community was like, that's so stupid. NFTs are the best. And then they reached all the limits of community building because everything had to be like 10,000 NFTs. And then they wanted to fractionalize NFTs, and like, congrats, you just invented fungible tokens. And they went all the way full circle to just tokens. So meme coins are basically the experiments of the NFT community building fungible tokens for non-DeFi purposes. So it's the same technology, just a different crowd, like experimenting, just like we experiment in sending tokens around in 2017, but they are actually much better at doing community building.
No, that's a good point, rebranding ourselves. And I mean, I'm in the business of PR, so it gives us a lot of work to do and to keep up with. So we talked about some trends here, gaming, but gamifying the way we interact on-chain, as well as the meme coins and AI. But back to the basics, because I feel like wallets are fundamental to onboarding people on. I think the most killer use case of crypto still today is stablecoins. What's your thoughts on stablecoins? I'm sure a lot of stablecoins kind of interact with WalletConnect network. Could you share a bit more about where you see stablecoins heading this year?
Yeah, so there's some limitations today to how on-chain works that makes stablecoins still inferior to, just normal fiat. And we have kind of fixed the settlement layer where we are faster and cheaper, right? We spent years and years of thinking about scalability, and now stablecoins are superior to like Swift, SEPA, ACH, like all of those things. We're just better. But the banks are still better at doing like gasless transactions, recovery of your account, or even just the ability of you not having to approve every transaction. And this is a bunch of different topics that WalletConnect is focused on. The first one that we have put a lot of effort, and now it's in beta stage and being rolled out through many applications, is smart sessions. Because one of the most inconvenient parts of connecting your wallet is that for every transaction, you have to go back to your wallet to approve it. And if you look at Web 2 or even traditional banking, you only do an approval once. You don't have to constantly approve everything. So with smart sessions, we're actually allowing you to control the policies that you give an application. So you could potentially think of like something as simple as your Netflix subscription turning into a smart session where you connect to your wallet and then you say, this application can debit me, I forgot the actual price, $9.99 per month. And then every month it has this ability to charge it every 30 days, $99. So you're still allowing the Netflix application to connect to your wallet, but it can only do a few things. And this means that now payments, one of the biggest use cases for stablecoins will be like recurring payments, automated payments, streamlining, but they're currently blocked by you either have to completely give away power of your wallet or you have to approve every transaction. And finding that middle ground with smart sessions is allowing delegation of you can sign on my behalf, but you can only do X, Y, and Z. And that's pretty much core to what we believe is going to be the future of WalletConnect, where you are essentially just giving permissions to your world to access your wallet, but you're still the owner of this wallet where you can revoke them at any point in time.
Cool. Well, just to wrap up this conversation, and I'd like to make room for one or two questions, but Pedro, do you have any kind of parting thoughts on what, because you've been working on wallets for several years now, and the title of this talk is Make Wallets Great Again. So what's kind of your anything you want to say about wallets and encouragement to the audience?
Well, I don't think it's just for wallets. I think it's for apps, it's for infrastructure builders, it's for designers, it's for marketers, for everyone in the room. Like, this is going to take a long time, and it's okay. We're going to rebrand ourselves, and we're going to call it something else, and we're going to survive, and everything is going to be okay, and we're actually going to be used by 1 billion people, but we just have to be very patient, because I used to be very impatient before, and I thought I would be done with WalletConnect after 1 year and move to something else. And I haven't even fulfilled half of what I wanted to do in 7 years, and it's not a failure of WalletConnect itself or a failure of the industry. It's just we're trying to completely revolutionize how society operates at the societal and economical level. Like, you can't just expect this to happen in a year. But obviously, we were like all younger and naive, and we kind of jumped head first. And we just have to be patient and really be thankful that we're part of this, because we missed the 90s internet craze, and now we got a second chance. So we might as well take it and try to redesign the internet together.
That's so encouraging. Thank you so much. I mean, for all the builders in the room as well, it's like, we're going to make it. So now I want to remember, like, you saying that. We're going to make it. It's not going to be immediate. And I think a lot of people in the industry, and it's just natural in our industry, everyone wants things quick, and they want to see things instantly. But it is a highly volatile market still as well in the early days. So does anyone have a question for Pedro? Two questions. So this is one.
So you were just mentioning the aspect of a bit of mental accounting, that people don't want to see the hidden cost, even though we think that people need to be educated. So what will be the abstracted version of the wallet at 2025 you see as the biggest hurdle or like a pain point that wallet should be working on to make others to use easier?
So I think there's two things. One is the way we actually track assets, like whether it's NFTs, tokens, whether it's even positions on DeFi, whether it's your participation on DAOs. that has to be completely chain agnostic. We still are a little bit too tight on the infrastructure. And to give you some context, we're currently in a stage that never happened in internet, where we're telling users that I'm using AWS or I'm using Microsoft Azure or Google Cloud Platform, and then telling them to switch data center provider in order to operate. And that's quite pathetic when you explain it that way, but we've gotten so used to it that I'm telling you, like, oh, you have this token. That's great. Can you switch data center so I can use your token? And we have to move away from that. Like, we have to completely abstract the idea of chains at the UI level, at the infrastructure level, and we commoditize chains. And the other one, which is already happening, so I kind of don't want to touch it too much, is that gas is going to evaporate. Like, gas is going to become a metric between service providers to just settle between each other, and consumers are not going to be actually handling gas anymore. But the chain agnostic part, we're still nowhere near that close. Yeah.
Any other questions?
I feel like that subscription allowance thing is pretty cool. Can you elaborate more on how that could happen? Because, for example, on the Ethereum network, I don't see a way to, like, oh, allow this transaction to happen in the future and every month also, without, like, letting your key to somewhere else, like to give it to someone else.
100%, and that's why it requires an Ethereum upgrade. Like, Ethereum as it exists today would not allow you to have subscriptions on chain. What is actually happening is that there's been a lot of developments in account abstraction to build smart accounts, which is essentially is your normal on-chain accounts will become programmable. But because we have created so much history in our little private keys, it kind of sucks that we have to move away from that and go to smart accounts. So what they've done is actually being able to associate a smart account with your key, and now you put all the programmability in that smart account, but you still own that original private key. And this is what they call the 7702, which creates like account delegation. I forgot the exact name, but it's like account delegation. And then if you have a subscription where in the smart contract it says this provider at this address can withdraw like 10 USDC every 30 days, then your smart contract will see that transaction come in and make sure that the policy is being followed. So if he tries to withdraw twice within 30 days, the first transaction goes through and the second fails. And then the smart contract acts almost as a firewall for your wallet.
Any other questions? We have time. Come on, we got Pedro Gomes here, guys. Ask away. Wallet Gigabrain.
I think that,
All right.
that wraps it up. No, thank you so much, Pedro.
you.
Can everyone give
Thanks,
him a round of
everyone.
applause?
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.